Welcome to Paradise in the Pines, a podcast about the people, places, and stories that make this the home of American golf. Brought to you by the Pinehurst, Southern Pines, Aberdeen Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
And hello again. Welcome to Paradise in the Pines. I'm Phil Wurz, the president and CEO of the Pinehurst, Southern Pines, Aberdeen Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Joined today by a great friend and the director of brand communications for the USGA, Janeen Driscoll. Janeen, great to see you again.
Phil, it is great to be here, and I'm so glad that we're right in the middle of golf season right now.
Yeah, and glad you were able to take some time off and relax and regenerate, re-energize, because you have been on the road quite a bit. We taped this after the U.S. Adaptive Open the day after. So, I mean, you had quite the run of not sleeping in your own bed. So talk about how the rigors of the USGA and your role over the last month or so.
Well, I'll tell you, we go 24/7, 12 months out of the year. But we love when championship season comes. That's our 15 national championships that we conduct all over the country, and the more than 600 qualifiers that we have to conduct with our allied golf associations so that the dreamers can play in a national championship. And I just can't tell you how inspired we've been by every story we've seen, whether it's the U.S. Open, the U.S. Women's Open, the four balls. We just had the adaptive, and we're going into our amateur season. I mean, this is golf. This is when people play golf, and this is when we get to tell some unbelievable stories. So that's a really great thing.
You ever wake up and go, where am I, in L.A.? Am I in Pinehurst? Where am I?
I will tell you, the Hiltons and the Marriotts start to look the same. You're not quite sure whether you go left or right down the hallway. You're like, no, right was last week. We have to go left this week. But I will tell you that every golf course is different, and every community embraces us when we come, and that is a wonderful thing. It makes us feel good about what we do for the game.
We're talking about embracing an event. I don't think any destination does it better. I'm probably prejudiced for this, and that would be the Pinehurst area. I mean, it is amazing how they come out, the volunteers. We were talking before this taping of all the things going on as we tape this week locally with the Carolinas Golf Association, the Carolinas Amateur, but all the other things that were going on from the Adaptive Open to the North and South, all the things that are going on from a championship perspective that need volunteers for these events, and people come out in droves when it comes time for volunteerism in the Pinehurst area.
Phil, I couldn't agree more. I mean, only in Pinehurst, right? Only in Pinehurst could we have a North and South that really has been a competition that has elevated some of the best amateurs in the game, to the U.S. Adaptive Open, to U.S. Amateur qualifying right here at CCNC. How many other destinations can have 4 or 5 major golf events during a 2-week span and have enough volunteers and enough people with enough energy to welcome all of these golfers and allow them to compete? It's why the USGA is in Pinehurst, why we're building Golf House Pinehurst, and why we believe this destination is truly special.
And so important to everything, and we just want to thank them right now. I mean, we mention them, we talk about them, but we want to thank them for coming out, volunteering, taking the time. It means so much, and it means so much to the success of events that the USGA does, absolutely.
No doubt about it. We had 430 at the U.S. Adaptive Open alone, and it takes a special individual to really support the U.S. Adaptive Open beyond any of the other championships we have, because there are so many special needs. We had volunteers that were helping with carts and people that were helping families out, and just making sure that everybody felt comfortable, felt like that they were welcomed, and just having an air of hospitality that is so special and has made the last 2 years of hosting this event in Pinehurst really incredible for them. I think when we were finishing off yesterday at the awards ceremony, you actually had a couple of competitors in tears because they said, we're so used to Pinehurst. It'll be hard to go to Kansas next year. And that speaks well to this destination, and that's a special thing. You
talked about great stories. I mean, you can go down the list of participants, all 90 of them, I believe, and they all have a great story to tell. And it's interesting because Mike Wan talked about how, you see the stories from tee to green, but it was the stories from green to tee that were really kind of inspiring. and so many of them. But the winners, just to announce, Kip Popert from England won. He was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at birth. He's quite the champion across the pond in his home country as well. So he is a repeated champion, but congratulations to him for winning the men's U.S. Adaptive Open. Ryan Jackson from Florida, diagnosed with a form of muscular dystrophy in college. She won the women's side, bested defending champion Kim Moore by, I think, a single shot. So great champions. But the one story I found interesting was the gentleman who is a skier from Utah who was paralyzed last year and won the seeded competition, finished 17th overall, but he shot 80, 82, and 70. I've played Pinehurst number 6. I'll never shoot 70 on that course, but what an unbelievable story for that gentleman to, his life completely changed. And to not only overcome that disability, but to thrive, and he was already an avid golfer, to come here and shoot those scores and to win the seeded, unbelievable story.
Unbelievable. You're talking about Max. He was a superstar the entire time. And just as you'll see for all of the adaptive players, it's their attitude that invigorates you. He was, as you mentioned, an avid golfer before his accident, really wanted to continue to play golf and found a way to do it. And not only found a way, but found a way to compete, found a way to find a community where he could play, where he could learn, where he could find the right coaches. And for him to play in a national championship was amazing. And to read his interviews after his round, and you ask him what he wants to do in the future, and he's like, I'm going to win it. I'm going,
That's great.
He is so self-motivated, and it's every single one of the 96 players that were in the championship have a journey and have a story to tell, and we should all be inspired by that. But what I really loved about it, Phil, was there were two things that really stood out to me this week. Number one, you go to the first tee when we had first ball, there were men and women playing together. They were playing from different tees. So we had 6 different tee options for the U.S. Adaptive Open based on their impairment. So people were playing from multiple tees, even though they were playing in the same group. So you had 2 here, and you had 1 here, and you had 1 all the way in the forward tee. Men and women playing together, playing from different tees, and they all have different impairments. You might have one on a cart, you might have one that is visually impaired, one of them that's a multiple limb amputee, and they're all playing together. And if we can't get inspiration from that, I don't know what we can. That's what golf is about. It's not about a men's competition or a women's competition. It's about all of us playing together. And whatever a disability is or whatever your handicap index is, we can all play this great game together. And I think that is the key takeaway for me, in addition to just the journeys that each and every player plays. They are a community of golfers, and they high-five each other. They love each other. They cheer each other on. They're not just deep in the competition. They are trying to make sure that they're friends, and they truly have made a lot of friends. I tell you, they're a real social culture, too. They're cheering each other on from the sidelines, and wow. I mean, that's what golf is, you know, as we're going through everything that we're going through with the game of golf right now. That is what's going to grow the game.
No doubt
and that's
about it.
what we should be inspired by.
Well said. Very inspiring. And we wish them the best of luck in all their endeavors, and good luck to them when they go to Kansas next year. Where are they playing in Kansas? Yeah,
they're playing in Newton, Kansas. I believe it's called Sand Creek. I'm going to have to check my facts there because my brain's a little tired. But that is the beauty of the USGA, of being able to work with every state in this great nation to really present a U.S. Open, be it the U.S. Open, the U.S. Women's Open, the Senior Open, any of our 15 national championships, and to bring them to the greatest venues in the game. And we are just so appreciative because these golf courses invite us and invite these championships in their home communities. The Adaptive Open is very different. You know, you need a golf course that allows golfers to get from green to tee very easily, allows them to get into the bunkers very easily if you're a riding player, or if you have a disability. Not every golf course is situated for the Adaptive Open. That's what we're learning through this process. And to be able to find a course that welcomed us, that wants to embrace this championship and wants to embrace these players is very special. And we hope that we can bring it to as many states as we can, because the goal really is for us to continue to build this community.
Right.
That's what the championship was intended to do, to find more people with disabilities and impairments to play together so that we can continue to elevate this championship.
Well, we appreciate the vision for that championship. I mean, we appreciate Pinehurst Resort and Tom Pashley, Bob Farron, everybody,
Amazing.
the team over there to host this championship, to grow it, to learn from the first year to the second year, and to hand it off to Kansas for the third year. They did a tremendous job of really kind of really embracing this championship.
Pinehurst has been such an incredible partner to us for a long time, but it's really when you see these championships that don't have a ton of fans, that don't bring in any revenue, and they just do it for the good of the game. Mm-hmm. And you see every single person that works on that golf course, every single person that is behind the scenes. We saw people coming over from the resort that just wanted to see it because they wanted to make sure that they were supporting it with their own time. And I found that to be extremely inspiring. There are just not a lot of golf courses in America that embrace us as much as Pinehurst does, and that's why we're glad to call it home.
Well, before you came back home, you were in L.A. for the U.S. Open, which Wyndham Clark, of course, won. And he has a great story, inspired by his mother who had passed away, and a great story. Ricky Fowler would have been a great story, but Wyndham Clark still a great story. And I remember we had talked about, as much as you enjoyed L.A. and you love every U.S. Open, every destination, every venue it is, you were like, I can't wait to get home. And then now you're on the clock for a home game. For the 2024 U.S. Open. How cool is that?
It is amazing. By the way, we had a great time in L.A. It's always fun for us to bring our national championship to brand new venues. And for so often, so many of our golfers wanted to win a national championship at L.A. Country Club, one of the great venues that had just recently been restored to some of its former glory, and to be able to compete inside those ropes was really amazing. And we have all credit due to LACC for being so welcoming to us. But yes, it's funny to us. We kind of turn the page as soon as we're done with this year's Open. And as you know, we always have people that are working about 2 years in advance to every U.S. Open in particular. And Reg and the entire team that is here in Pinehurst they're just so excited to come back to Pinehurst. The things that you know about having a home game is you know where to put fans, you know where to park people, you know where to house people. You know that you're going to have the volunteer base that you want, and you just know that the entire community is going to embrace that. And you don't have to build that from scratch like we did at Los Angeles. And that just, it makes us feel so good to bring it back to this community. And I think you know this, Phil. We at the USGA that are based here in Pinehurst, it's a sense of pride for us.
Yeah.
We're going to do better, we're going to do bigger, because this is our home game. And we want our neighbors and everybody in our community to feel this sense of pride. And we're going to knock it out of the ballpark tomorrow. I mean, next year, no doubt about it.
We can't. As we record this,
Please.
333 days, you can go to our website, see the countdown. We are synced up now with Pinehurst Resort. We had it the first ball struck on Thursday. They have it on Monday, which of course where the week starts. So we're synced up. We start on Monday, June the 10th.
I love it. That's when practice rounds are for us. That's where the game starts.
You talked about home game. Yeah, I know there's a smaller contingent of USGA employees that have been in Pinehurst for a number of years. The house is getting much larger, though, with about 50 more of those USGA employees coming down from New Jersey, being part of Golf House Pinehurst. And if you've been to Pinehurst lately, or if you're coming, you'll want to, as you drive into the clubhouse, you cannot miss the two buildings that will comprise Golf House Pinehurst. It has come along very quickly. I know you spoke recently to a ladies group. Your offices will be open in December, but talk about the timing for that and when the other facilities. Talk about not only when the offices will open, but what will be in the 2 buildings and when will everything be up and running?
Yeah. Wow. I can't believe how quickly those buildings have come up. We've been looking at plans on paper for the past 2 or 3 years, but when we finally put some of the structures in place, we're now airtight. We've put in all of the windows. If you go past it at night, you're seeing the lights light up. As I was leaving the resort last night, I happened to see it, and I'm like, wow, these buildings are big. It's happening. Yeah. We are, just as you mentioned, Phil, where we are exactly on schedule with where we want to be right now. We have 2 buildings for those that haven't seen it yet. One of them closest to the clubhouse. That's our test center and administration building. The one closer to the Little Mini Traffic Circle will be the USGA Experience and the World Golf Hall of Fame. We're going to open the test center and admin building in December. We already have people that have relocated here over the summer. Of course, you've got a couple of families that have just finished their school year up in New Jersey, and they're anxious to get down here before they put their kids in school for the fall season. Green section folks, our expert agronomists, they are coming down in droves, saw them all at the Adaptive Open. Super excited to see them come down, and we're just seeing that trickle happen. So knock on wood, we'll be in the test center and the admin building in December, and then a little bit later, probably late May, right before the U.S. Open, for the USGA Experience and the World Golf Hall of Fame. The exterior of the buildings will be done. We're just waiting for some of the fixtures to come in for the museum displays that we're going to build there, which are going to be extraordinary.
Wait. Yeah, we cannot wait. It's taking shape. But again, if you get a chance to take a look, I go by there at least once a week, and it's amazing. True. Cannot wait to see in full.
We're not only building the buildings, but starting in August, we're going to start to put the landscaping down.
Nice.
And one of the things that I think I've told you before is we really wanted this campus to show the values of the USGA. So the irrigation systems that we're going to put in are, for example, they're extremely sustainable. We're testing out what we call drip irrigation, which is part of our water resilience project, our 15-30-45 project, where we're trying to reduce golf's use of water by up to 45% in the next 15 years. And we really wanted to make sure that when we're telling golf courses that we want you to reduce water, we want to commit to that in equal measure. And so we're putting some new technology into the campus where we can test out the technologies that we're trying to tell golf courses that they can use, especially in the Southwest. Extreme heat going on in the West. We've all got to do better on water, but you're going to see the pollinator gardens being popped up, and we're working on the Pine Grove right now.
Great.
And restoring it. So all of those things outside and inside are happening right now. It's super exciting.
Kind of a story that, behind the scenes kind of thing, because you've got a number of dozens of other USGA employees moving down here. Speak to the community in general, because, you mentioned about kids finishing school. I mean, these employees have to come down here, find a house, find a school, find a doctor, all the logistics that go into moving all these people to Golf House Pinehurst. But talk about the community, how they've embraced them, from the realtors to everybody else that try to make them feel comfortable and feel welcome in their new home here in the Pinehurst area.
No doubt about it. I mean, you and I have lived here before, so we know how special it is, and we know how much it's changed. But if you can imagine a group of my colleagues that come in only for the U.S. Open once every 10 years, and all they see is the infrastructure of big grandstands and big tents, and then all of a sudden they come here and none of that is there, and they're trying to understand what's outside of Pinehurst Resort and Pinehurst number 2. But you're right, we have incredible partners in this community, not only the Chamber of Commerce, Moore County Economic Development, you as the CVB. There is a whole group of people, realtors, just the school system that have come in and talked to our teams to make them feel comfortable to answer the questions that they have about where they should park. I think what's been fun for me is talking to my colleagues about even the difference between Aberdeen, Southern Pines, and Pinehurst. Where do you want to go? Do you like golf? Mm-hmm. You might want to be embedded into one of the many, many great golf communities that we have in this area. Do you want some more nightlife? Southern Pines might be a really great one. Are you looking for a community that's emerging very, very quickly? Aberdeen, Carthage. Yeah. So many places. And we're actually seeing other people that, are managing families that are looking a little bit further north, and they're looking at
Bass
Sanford
and
Raleigh even. Just trying to figure out that area. And I think they're doing all the right things of saying, maybe I'm just going to rent for a little bit and just get a feel for it and then find something permanent later on. But I think what they're finding really quick is quality of life, incredible. Dining options, incredible. Great school systems, friendliness, hospitality, all incredible in this area. Cost of living between housing and buying groceries and buying gas, so much different than New Jersey. So they're seeing all of these benefits that you just don't see until you live here.
Sure.
And that's a game changer to a lot of people. That's changing a lot of lives and making it a heck of a lot easier for them to bring their families down here and dream. I mean, there's a lot of people in New Jersey who don't have backyards because the land is just so finite up there. So it's fun to hear their stories and to hear them be newcomers to an area that we have been in for a while.
I know you didn't ask me to mention this, but I got this flyer in the mail. It really speaks to a really cool program that's going to be very historic for Golf House Pinehurst, and it's really a chance to leave your legacy in the cradle of American golf or the home American golf. It's called the President's Circle program. So basically, folks, at Golf House Pinehurst, there's going to be a brick walkway. You can purchase these bricks. They're $1,000 minimum. If you're a member of the USGA, you've gotten one of these already. If not, you should join the USGA for the good of the game. But this is an incredible program. We've purchased one for the CVB that will basically support Golf House Pinehurst and a marker that just shows your dedication to Golf House Pinehurst, the legacy of golf, and the contributions the USGA will make. And the President's Circle brick program would be 1,000 engraved bricks in honor of the President's Circle members. Can you talk to that and how important that's going to be for Golf House Pinehurst?
We hope everybody's name is on a brick. We're going to run out of space and we're going to run out of bricks. But we believe that the President's Circle, that group of people that want to invest $1,000 into the game of golf to propel all of the projects that we do to make the game better than we found it, will be a great step in the right direction, and will show the entire world that visits Golf House Pinehurst that the Pinehurst community supports the game of golf, and that's why your name should be on there. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. And if you want to know more about this, one, if you're not a member of the USGA, please join. So if you are a member, if you want to learn more about this brick program and make a donation and have your name or engraved brick, go to usga.org/PC, which is President's Circle PC Brick, usga.org/PC Brick. So more about that. Also want to send it to the USGA website, usga.org, for tickets to the 2024 U.S. Open here at Pinehurst #2. I know right now, as we tape this in August, there are packages. So I know we've gotten some emails and some inquiries as to, hey, when will individual day tickets go on sale? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, usopen.com, probably a quicker conduit. You'll see on usopen.com, not only are we selling U.S. Open tickets for 2024, but we also have our volunteer sign up directly on usopen.com. We're going to need more than 4,000 volunteers to be able to conduct the championship, and so we encourage everybody to do that. Right now, you're going to see some of the weekly packages. We just sold out on the Saturday and Sunday packages. I personally really like that ticket that is right off of 8 and 14, I believe, that allows you to enjoy the experience on an outdoor pavilion. I've always found at the championships where we have those, that's where the excitement is. It's kind of like a beer garden atmosphere, and people just have great beverages. It's covered. You can see golf. I really love the 8th hole of number 2.
Yeah.
I think it's where a lot of great action is going to happen as well, that kind of corner. So I'd highly encourage people to look at those packages. As well as I do, it's hot in June. So
Right.
some of those packages, especially Trophy Club, they're going to come in handy.
Right.
A little bit later in the year, probably around the holidays, is when you're going to see us release some individual ticket options. I'm going to tell you specifically that we're selling a package called, it's an $18.95 package. It's about some grandstands that are going to be right on the 18th green. Reg Jones has talked about this a little bit. I think that's going to be the special ticket.
Yeah.
I've told all of my friends personally, this can be my 10th U.S. Open for the USGA. Can't believe that. That's
Yeah.
gone by in a blink. My first Open was Pinehurst, but you pick the days that you want to come to the championship. I would go for 1 full day, 2 full days of just having a great experience on site, and to put your investment there of being able to have the food options that you want, the beverage options that you want, the covered air-conditioned options that you want for a Friday or a Saturday, and then be able to do what we all do. Go home, watch it on TV,
Yeah.
see the incredible coverage that is there. And that is what makes for a great individual experience. All of our tickets are, digital, which makes it really easy to share tickets. So we have people that are buying multiple packages for multiple days, and they're able to, via the phone and via your app, be able to share tickets with your friends very easily. And we've found that to be a really, really popular option. Let's just go in together and let's buy a packet of tickets and let's share them. I'd recommend that people look into those options because I think they're great for enjoying the championship and gives you some value in it. Regardless, having the U.S. Open at Pinehurst is a special experience, and you shouldn't miss it. Take at least one day to be part of the championship, whether it's a practice round or whether it's a Thursday, Friday round. Being able to see the world focus their attention on Pinehurst number 2
Yeah.
and focus their attention on 156 incredible golfers, the best in the game, is worth seeing. And it only happens once every few years. Even though we're coming back again and again,
Right.
it's still
Yeah.
once every 5
Sure.
years. And you may miss the opportunity next time, so don't miss it.
So tickets at USGA.com. And not only for tickets, but if you're staying overnight, we encourage you, given what we do for a living, we understand that hotel rooms are limited now. There are short-term rentals, so we would encourage you, if you're going to buy tickets, get your lodging now because it will sell out. But you can go to our website, homeofgolf.com/US Open 2024, and you'll see out of the area surrounding counties from Charlotte to Raleigh to Wilmington, there's going to be spillover for people coming here to this championship because Tom Pashi said about 250,000 people for the entire week. So there'll be a lot of people here. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I remember you said 10 years. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years.
It's crazy.
2014, people remember Martin Keimer won kind of a runaway. 2005, Michael Campbell won, and of course in 1999, the most memorable one and one that really kind of everybody remembers from Pinehurst when Payne Stewart won. 25th anniversary of that championship, that memorable one. Not asking you to spill the beans, but I'm sure there's going to be some sort of commemoration with either Pinehurst Resort, the USGA, or both when it comes to Payne Stewart remembering his legacy and everything he did, not only for that championship, but for the game of golf.
I mean, really, Phil, how could we not?
Yeah.
What an incredible moment. I'll never forget that moment. That was my first U.S. Open, period, as a human being there, and to be on that porch and to see that energy happen is what caused me to work at the USGA. there are so many things that we can do and so many things that we can celebrate all the way through. Remember, we've got the World Golf Hall of Fame. Remember, we have so many different places throughout the community, our USGA experience, our museum, and what we're able to hold there, what the broadcast championship coverage can do, the people that remember pain, the people that were there, the people that will be in the field that can remember that moment as well. What an incredible celebration that will be. I'm not going to spill the beans on what we're doing.
It's going to be awesome, whatever it is.
We're a little too soon, but I think if everybody starts buying tam o' shanters and starts buying their plus fours in advance for U.S. Open Sunday and Father's Day, I think that'd be a great Father's Day gift for anybody.
It sure will. I'll ask you one last question. I was watching the Women's U.S. Open, which was incredibly historic to be able to play at Pebble Beach. Congratulations to Alison Corpus, who actually won, was runner-up at the North-South in 2020 here in Pinehurst #2. Tremendous champion. But one thing that I watched, and you could speak to the history of ladies at Pebble Beach, but watching an interview with Michelle Wee West, who won here at Pinehurst #2 in 2014 when we did the double-double, which we'll do again in 2029.
That's right.
But she mentioned how important the USGA was to her. I want to kind of turn that around. And how important is Michelle Wee West to the USGA?
Oh, my goodness. What a point of inspiration she has been, and it has been so fun and endearing for us as USGA teammates to be able to see Michelle get to what she believes is the end of her career. I don't believe it's the end, by the way. I believe we'll see Michelle in some form or another in the game of golf because it's her life.
Yeah.
And she is such a great ambassador that I can't see her pulling away completely, but to see her make this choice for herself and to be able to look back at her career, what we love about people like Michelle, like we do about Tiger, like we did about Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus. You remember we have 15 national championships, and people like that have come through the junior amateur, have advanced to the amateur, have gone on to play in the U.S. Open, U.S. Women's Open.
She played in the U.S. Public Links here.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, fast forward with Annika, who won the U.S. Senior Women's Open here and was in the field at Pebble Beach. They truly believe, and especially the women, that the U.S. Women's Open is the pinnacle of their sport. And for them to celebrate it at Pebble was really momentous for them, was really important for them. And they wanted to support the USGA as we have supported them through their entire career. Before their names meant anything, there were USGA staff members, teammates that were coming in when they were juniors and said, what can we do to help you? What can we do to help you advance in your game? So what does it mean to us? It means that the gloves that they gave us, and Michelle gave us, you saw the wave that she had. She had that specifically made to really celebrate Pebble Beach and the moment in time in history of having women, the Women's Open. We played the AMs before, but to have the Women's Open at Pebble meant so much to her that she wanted to give that back to us. And that's what we do. That's what the USGA does, is we help golfers advance into their careers, and to have them give it back to us makes us feel so good, and it propels us for some of our programs like the player development program to invest even more in it, because if we can shape one life like that, we can shape so many more. So it's not just gratifying, it's energizing, and it makes us want to push even further and to see whose life we can change beyond it.
Well, the USGA does a tremendous job. We look forward to you guys having your permanent home here, or second HQ2, as some people like to say, headquarters 2. Thank you so much, Janeen, for joining us. You and your team, everybody at the USGA from Mr. Juan on down, do a tremendous job. We cannot wait till you guys call this home, and cannot wait for the U.S. Open next year.
Yeah, game on. And I'm sorry for getting all choked up a little bit earlier. But
recharge your batteries.
I gotta get choked up about the USGA and about the U.S. Open coming less than a year away. Exciting.
Well, let's go have a beer at the Growler Company or Red's Corner and relax and recharge. And
I am in. I think we all deserve a beer.
There we go.
I'll tell you, by the way, everybody loved, I can't tell you how many people have embraced Southern Pines Brewery and Pinehurst. I saw more cans of, I'm allowed to say that, more cans of local beer than any other championship. So,
well, we're going to have another Southern Pines Brewery in Carthage in time for the U.S. Open. We're going to have Beehawk Distillery is going to be open in time for the U.S. Open. So it's going to be a lot of new things happening here between now and the U.S. Open.
It's a party.
And we're going to have a great time. But thanks again, Janeen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, if you want to learn more about tourism and the destination, go to homeofgolf.com. If you want to watch our videos, including these podcasts, go to our Instagram channel, which is Home of American Golf. And if you want to download this podcast, go to your favorite podcatcher and search for Paradise in the Pines. For Janeen Driscoll, I'm Phil Wurst. We'll see you next time in Paradise in the Pines.
Love you. Fantastic.